Another item I got a lot of use out of down there was this, it's like a slightly oversized coffee pot. Actually, it's a metal cup, blue enamel coating made by IMUSA, I-M-U-S-A, and it holds just slightly over a quart. So coffee cup size, it's a little large. Also, when you drink out of a metal coffee cup, you have a tendency to burn the lips. So I wound up taking along a second little plastic, I think a Coleman cup, and I use that to drinking out of. Use this for making the coffee, and thinking about getting at least one more because it would also be handy for cooking up a little pot of grits or any other fine delicacy. But I didn't use this on the TurboCat 2. Inside, there's two things. That's the burner. The other is a windscreen. In this case, it's a lot heavier because it's made out of a coffee can. Again, the vent hole's in the bottom. It's cutting back so the handle will sit down inside it. I'm just going to put that right here for right now and show you why that particular type is needed. You notice that it doesn't have anything to clip it because it's a pretty heavy, that coffee can, you can bend it just like you want it and set it down. There it stays. Denture cup. Don't ask. Little Coke stove. Came from a Coca-Cola can. In this case, it was a caffeine-free ginger ale can, 8-ounce fluid size. And it's one of the simplest of little can stoves I think I've seen. I'll put the address up so you can look at the video of the guy that built the one that got me to building it. It's two pieces, one fits inside the other. You can make it with nothing more than a sharp pocket knife and a can that you found somewhere. The sides have been fluted just by laying a knife blade across it, your two fingers giving a little push. Real simple to make. Those form the little channels that the alcohol jets come from. And what's good about this one is once you've done with it, you've got your water boiling, and that's its primary function. It's a high heat stove. It's great for boiling water in a hurry. You can take this little plastic cup and the flames go out fast enough, I mean it just stops instantly, that the cup doesn't even heat up, so there's no danger of melting the cup. And the can can be picked up within a minute or two, and unlike most of them, it's very simple to pull this apart and then simply pour the remaining fuel back in your little fuel bottle, which is a lot better than just sitting there, you know, letting it burn out. And this will hold, depending on how deep you cut it, anywhere from, this one holds I think about 1.5 ounces up to 2 ounces. I just cannot imagine having to have it burn that long. You must. So good for fuel recovery. A lot of them just won't do it. This sits right here. You light it, give it about 30 seconds to make sure you've got not just flames coming out the center, but you want them coming out from around the edges. They can be a little hard to see, so you have to look. The reason for that is this pot sits right on top of it like that, and you'll have flames coming out, around, and part way up the sides. In a thin metal pot, that'll hook up quickly. But that's also where the windscreen comes in handy, because it doesn't take much to blow out an alcohol stove, or at least keep it from heating properly. So that sits right on here. The slot fits down in there. But I do have to tell you that this handle will heat up quite hot. So I keep a small towel to use as a pot holder to pick it up with. Once the coffee's made, let it sit for a minute for the grounds to settle, then decant that into my little drinking cup, because this will burn the lips. And I've got my 1 cup of coffee here, my 2nd cup ready to go. And it all fits together nicely. The one problem with this pot is that they did not provide a lid, so I'm going to be looking at making one. But that's my little Musa cup. I did use it on that stand sitting here like this, the other one sitting here, so I had the coffee going and the bacon and eggs all at the same time. Works great. Okay, now here's another little find I came across at Walmart. It was only $5. I thought I was wasting my money with it, but it turned out it worked out pretty good. I added the little mitten clip to it so I could hang it on the ridge line in the hammock. And it's a little lantern, runs off a couple of, I think, AAA batteries, but it's LED, so you get quite a few hours out of one. Puts out a white light that spreads out, and the little reflector also brings it down. Pretty intense little light, but really good for reading. Matter of fact, I started rereading the book Gladesman out there, sitting next to my hammock for a while, and had a whole new perspective on it by then. But you can also push the button again, and you can't see it here, but the bottom has a single LED that puts out a soft red light to preserve your night vision, provided you remember to cover this part when you turn it on, because it steps through. The last thing it does is the little red light flashes. I have no idea why. One more push and it goes away. $5, Walmart, not bad. Okay, now this is kind of an unusual item for a camping equipment report. What this is a battery backup, a charger that I could use for my cell phone, and I even found out I can recharge my digital camera. This will hold enough power. It's roughly 5 times the size of the battery that's in my cell phone. I was down there for 2 nights, 3 days. I have a Motorola Droid Razr M, and I recharged it 3 times with this battery pack, and it still had plenty of power. Matter of fact, it charged it just as quickly as the wall charger that I use at home or at work, or the car charger. The difference is it's a solar panel on the front, and it's a small panel, but so long as there's any sun, as a matter of fact, it's doing it right now, it'll put a trickle charge on itself. Not enough to recharge the whole thing if you drain it completely in any reasonable amount of time, but you just let it catch some sun whenever you can, and I have no idea how long it'll go. Like I said, 2 nights, 3 days, 3 full charges on my phone, and it was still about more than half the capacity of the battery was still available. Found this on Amazon. It's called a Poweradd, Poweradd, and it was not expensive at all. If you're going to be out there and you're going to depend on your phone, I would depend on this. The last item I wanted to cover is this. This is the knife I took down with me. It's a Ontario knife company, although it is U.S. made. It's their Blackbird SK5. It's a pretty good knife. It's not a made for a TV movie be-all end-all survival knife, but probably all the knife I'll ever need. It's a micarta handle. Not a huge knife. The blade is 5 inches, the handle's 5 inches. Got a real nice balance to it. It'll hold an edge for quite a while. It's a hard blade. And you'll notice that it's basically a spear tip. The point is centered over the blade, which kind of comes in handy for drilling. You're not drilling an off-center wobbly hole. People that are into fire by friction will use something like this on the fireboard if they need to put a hole in it. I didn't get a lot of use out of it down there, fortunately. I did have to make a little extra tent, like a tent pole and a stake, so I could turn my little rain fly into a little front porch. And it worked fine for that, but this thing never left my side. It's got a long loop that can be threaded through the back to bring it up tighter, or hook it up to a molly system. But I just put it on my belt, left it loose like that, so when no matter how I was sitting, I could slide it up, down, front, back to keep it out of the way, but it was always there, secure. Good strong snap on it, but easy to take out. Nice thick blade. You don't have to worry about bending or breaking it unless you really work at it. The Blackbird SK5 Ontario Knife Company. It's another item I can recommend rather highly. And that's about it. Shooting this in my secret location test jungle here in Area 51, also known as the backyard jungle. Okay, it's my backyard, but suits my purposes. I'll try to do some more videos, try to keep them a little more concise in the future. Won't ramble so much, but I'm not promising anything. Thanks for watching.